Hello boys and girls, welcome to my channel, I'm for Classic and welcome to BenchART. So for today, what I do have in here, it is, again, NieR Replicant, after nearly 1 week. So why the hell I'm testing this again? Because they have done it again. NieR, it is, again, having issues with its own game. And so I decided to install a fix called SpecialK, and SpecialK seems to fix tons of issues of the game. So you can invoke the menu of SpecialK, and you can limit frame rate, for example, which by default the game comes with a limit in frame rate. I just decided to unlock just to let you know that if you play the game above 60 frames per second, the game speed it is just too fast. So why did I install SpecialK? Because it fixes issues and, above all, it gives you better performance without compromising on the visuals. So this is the new results with SpecialK. So whatever if you go with maximum settings or high settings, you can expect now an average of nearly 100 frames per second with 1% level around 80s. 1440p maximum settings, it was completely unplayable in the past. Now it is playable with averages of 68 with minimums of 60. So in big fights you might expect, you know, a drop here and there. And if you go to 4K, well, 4K runs in between 30 to 45 frames per second. So if you want to target 30 frames per second on NieR Replicant, you can play at 4K maximum settings. Even in the past, 1080p maximum settings, I was having drops below 60. So what was the fire starter for this decision to use SpecialK and to bring out this video about this SpecialK fix? Well, first of all, the reason why I fixed it's because I did benchmark the game at first. As you know, last week I decided to release benchmarks for this game, and when I did try it out the game at the time, I was having an experience above 60 frames per second with high settings. So I was relieved. I was relieved that I could play that high. I couldn't play at maximum, but for me it was fine. So high settings was above 60 frames per second with no issues. So I started to play the game, doing the exact same thing that I was doing on the benchmark, but this time around, instead of having 60 frames per second, I was having 50s. And the game started to run in slow motion, because you need to have you know, a locked frame rate in order to play. You need to lock your frame rate in between 30 to 60, but you need to lock, or the game speed will start to change suddenly, and everything just feels wrong. It feels like you are inside the Matrix, but then you are outside of it. So it's very weird feeling. It's like the game speeding is going more faster and more slower at the same time. So that's why you need to lock your frame rate at 30, 40, 45, 50, or 60. It depends on what you want, alright? But, yeah, the frame rate was just dropping below 60. And I was shocked, because on my benchmark that I have performed for you, I was having 60. So I started to investigate a little bit. I started to go to Steam forums, and I started to notice that many people were having issues. I had comments from people saying that they were having 30 frames per second with specs similar to mine, with recent i5 CPUs, and GTX 1650 Super SU was having issues. So I was trying to understand what the hell was going on. And I have gone to my trusty website, PC Gaming Wiki, and then there was a fix there called SpecialK, which was the same guy that decided to fix NieR Automata in the past, so I decided to give it a try. So the mode, it says that it fixes up stuff like the cursor in the middle of the screen, which is one of the issues that I did complain on the first video. But above all, it fixes performance issues. So the performance issues that this game was having at first, it seems that it is related with the fact that it was trying to give communications to the CPU about the PS4 controller. But we don't have a PS4 controller. I have an Xbox controller, but even if you only play with keyboard and mouse with the Xbox controller deactivated, I was still having performance issues. So installing this fix, this mode, whatever you want to call it, just fixes the performance. There is no downgrades in visuals, they just fixes the codes. They lock down the frame rate to 60 frames per second as a maximum, because this was an issue at first too, because it happens that I still have a 60Hz screen, so this game comes with VSync activated, so it caps at 60. But if you have a 1440p Hertz, 140 Hz screen, the game will try to lock at 144, and so the game will just run too fast. So this SpecialK automatically caps the game at 60 frames per second, and not only that, I mean, the game felt that it's locked to 60 frames per second. It is much more smoother than it was at native without the SpecialK mode. So the only downside about this mode or this fix is that, well, it does consume more CPU. So for my Ryzen 5, this is nothing. I just don't notice anything. I just have much more performance, much higher GPU usage, so it seems that it is giving me more performance. But I've seen some people with lower tier CPUs, old low tier CPUs, having worse results than they had in the past. So I decided to try this fix on my old laptops, and the results weren't really great. Also, Intel GPUs, this is not working with Intel GPUs, and for AMD GPUs I certainly don't know. So if you want to download this SpecialK fix, just go to the link on the description. Thank you a lot for watching, and I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.